And I heard someone say, I heard it was Isaiah. And I didn't want to believe it was my Isaiah.
A community is still in pain from the death of Isaiah Carter, shot near his East Baltimore High School this past month. The changes the community is now asking for.
They're still afraid to leave their children. They're still afraid when their kids walk out of the door. They're afraid to go to work because of the violence.
And crime in Baltimore continues to rise as several bills hang in the balance in Annapolis. FOX45 News is pressing leaders at the city, state level is what they're doing to improve safety working.
And after a wet start to the weekend, we are looking at a much better day ahead of us. I'll explain the reason why in a couple of minutes.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 Morning News.
All right, we're live. Looked over Towson right now. You can see just a few cars out, but folks are pretty much inside this morning, as they should be. Thanks for being with us here this March 26th. I'm Taylor Stewart. Let's get right to your forecast. Meteorologist Amy Aronson, a soggy afternoon yesterday, and is that still in the forecast for today?
Fortunately not. We got the rain out of our system yesterday, and today we're drying out and actually warming back up. Already this morning feels pretty nice out there now that the fog from last night is dissipating. We're starting off in the very mild low 50s right now, and this actually puts us up a solid 5 to 10 degrees from this time yesterday morning. So that's a sign of what's to come for the remainder of the day. If you're planning out what to do today and looking for something to do, plan some time outside, maybe checking out some of the pretty cherry blossoms either here or down in D.C. We've got nothing but sunshine today. Plus, we've got some really mild temperatures coming up. So by midday, we're already breaking back into the low 60s and then the upper 60s to near 70 by day's end. Now, unfortunately, these mild temperatures not here to stay. Coming up in 10 minutes, I'll break down our temperature ups and downs for the week ahead. Taylor?
In a city in crisis, youth violence continues to plague Baltimore. A 19-year-old killed and at least 13 others shot over the past 4 days right here in the city. A new victim, 16-year-old Isaiah Carter. You recall him. He was gunned down outside of Patterson High School earlier this month. His friends and family gathered where he was killed for a vigil. Vincent Hill has more on the message the family is trying to send to lawmakers in Annapolis.
A pledge to keep the name and memory of Isaiah Carter alive.
Isaiah, we want you to know that we love you, baby. We love you. We love you.
To those who knew him, he could strike a chord.
He was annoying, as God knows how much, but I loved him for it.
Described as a quirky kid, taken away by gun violence, something his fellow students have become numb to.
Well, someone got shot. I don't know who it was, but now after-school activities are canceled.
Unfazed by what seems to be the norm for Baltimore City schools, until hearing the news it was her friend.
And I heard someone say, I heard it was Isaiah. And I didn't want to believe it was my Isaiah.
For Isaiah's mother, Michelle Hines, her son's death, a constant reminder of her biggest fear.
If I predicted in January, do not call me in 2 to 3 weeks to tell me that my child is shot by a disgruntled student. And in 2 to 3 weeks, I get a call, and the people on the other end can't even catch their breath.
Her son's killer arrested in Texas, but her fear amplified because of the 2 other teens she sends to Baltimore City schools.
Even the anxiety of letting them leave, I'm afraid.
Along with that fear, anger at the school system.
But we have no safety for schools. My child was murdered, literally. We can see the school. We can see the school.
That frustration even directed at Governor Westmore's plan to combat crime in Baltimore.
He ends up saying, well, I have a plan for a $1.something billion plan to put into Baltimore City Police. You use my son as the talking point.
She says words and promises of money are not enough to bring her son back or protect her other 2 kids from gun violence in Baltimore City.
We need more. We need the state to really pay attention. We need legislators to put this energy into making real changes, immediately.
Vincent Hill reporting there. Now, Governor Westmore addressed what the state is doing in regards to violence. He spoke with Arakai Jackson at the Be More Healthy Expo about how the state is working with local police departments.
We have a record investment, $122 million going to local law enforcement, $17.5 million going to Baltimore City alone. Historic investments in the Maryland Coordination and Analysis Center, and we've actually brought Baltimore City in to the Analysis Center for the first time in 8 years.
How's that partnership going?
And it's going really well because we're trying to see now, we're doing everything that on the state level to be able to make sure we're increasing coordination, putting actually more resources on the ground, making sure we're supporting law enforcement officers and supporting law enforcement agencies.
Isaiah Carter's story is sadly too common. So far this year, 7 city school students have been killed. This includes Diasia Garrison. She was the first person killed in Baltimore City this year on New Year's Day. Also in January, 16-year-old Deontay Dorsey killed outside of Edmonton Village Shopping Center. 4 other students were at the scene. They were hurt in that shooting. And then just days after that, 15-year-old LaRon Henderson killed in an alley blocks away from his high school, Forest Park. And elsewhere in a city in crisis, 24-year-old Marcus Russell. He's now charged with murder in connection to a body that was found last night in a car in Baltimore, which police say was his roommate. The incident started on Thursday when the 22-year-old Jeffrey Brooks Jr. was reported missing along Mary Avenue in Northeast Baltimore. While family members say Brooks did not show up for work, Russell confessed. He led police to Brooks's body last night along Hartford Road. That body was in the back of his car with a gunshot wound to the chest. Russell's being held at central booking. All right, this year's legislative session is winding down in Annapolis, and several crime bills, they're still hanging in the balance here. Maxine Stryker has more on why this has many worried about the fate of Baltimore City.
It was one of the most violent days of the year. In Baltimore City Thursday, 11 people were shot, and local boxer 33-year-old Ernest Hall was killed in a mass shooting along Edmondson Avenue.
It's a cliche when people pass away, everyone says, all good things. He was this, he was that, but Ernie was actually, he was a gem for the city of Baltimore.
Homicide numbers are down compared to this time last year, and city and state leaders are touting success. But we took a closer look at the numbers and found it may be too soon to celebrate. January of this year, 26 people were killed on the streets of Baltimore. That's 10 less than January 2022, when 36 people were killed in what was the deadliest January ever. But the year prior, 27 people were killed, almost the same as this year. And last month, 17 people were killed, one more than February 2022.
The people that we've talked to are also not in agreement with the city leaders. They're still afraid to leave their children. They're still afraid when their kids walk out of the door. They're afraid to go to work because of the violence.
In Annapolis, with just 2 weeks left in the session, several major crime-fighting bills are stuck in committee, including attempts to make stealing a handgun a felony, increasing penalties for repeat violent offenders, and lengthening jail time for illegal gun possession, a bill championed by City State's Attorney Ivan Bates. He lobbied for the bill in Annapolis earlier this week and has been adamant about getting tough on crime.
I've gone to too many funerals. I've gone to too many and watched too many people and young boys and young men and young kids and young ladies who look like me and you that are dying and losing their life.
That is why peace exists. Eurypsy Morgan, spokesperson for the group Peace, worries his bill and the others that promise to crack down on criminals will stall, and the bloodshed in Baltimore will continue.
I don't see any indication that Ivan Bates, the state's attorney's bill, is actually going to become law. Right? What we would celebrate is if the leaders of Baltimore City and the legislature in Maryland, which is fully Democrat, right, they have a veto-proof majority in the legislature, which means if they wanted to pass Ivan Bates' bill, they could do that absolutely. If they wanted to make stealing a gun a felony, they could absolutely do that. If they wanted to increase the penalty for using a gun in a crime, they could absolutely do that, but they're not doing those things.
Ohio's contaminated water possibly coming here to Maryland? Well, lawmakers have some concerns about the plan. We'll tell you about them just ahead.
And after a rainy, yucky start to the weekend, today looks so much better. We're actually going to end up in the mid and upper 60s this afternoon. I'll let you know exactly how long these milder temperatures stick around in a couple of minutes. It's 7:09. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News.
Fox 45 News, winner of 17 2022 Regional Emmy Awards, more than all other Baltimore news stations combined.
In your consumer news, France is banning TikTok on government devices. The country joins a list of nearly dozens of other countries raising security concerns with this app. Now, they already are under scrutiny here in the U.S. The company's CEO was grilled on Capitol Hill about security concerns just this past Thursday. Here in Maryland, TikTok already banned on devices in the executive branches. Now this week, Utah passed a new law that makes kids get parental approval before they can even join social media. The Utah Social Media Regulation Act would require all platforms conduct age verification for their residents. The bill also imposes a curfew for anyone under the age of 18 on the site from 10:30 to 6 a.m. Parents also get access to their teens' accounts. This bill is set to go in effect March of 2024. A beef company is recalling their product, and why it's being taken off store shelves here in Maryland, we'll tell you. And just ahead, Project Baltimore investigating whether the state should take over the city's struggling school system. What we found when we looked to another state with similar measures over their public schools. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning. All right, right now, Baltimore City Public Schools, as we've reported, is one of the lowest performing schools in the country. It's raising questions over whether the state should intervene. But do state takeovers actually work? Project Baltimore's Chris Papps looked into what happened when this happened in another state. Take a look.
Based on what you know, do you believe Baltimore City schools to be academically bankrupt?
Gerard Robinson is Virginia's former Secretary of Education and a current professor at the University of Virginia.
From what I've read and what I know, I would say yes.
Baltimore City Schools is a district that is struggling. Just 7% of 3rd through 8th graders last year tested proficient in math. Federal test scores are at 13-year lows. The current 4-year graduation rate of 68.7% is a 9-year low, and it could get worse. State data shows that just 56% of students in the class of 2025 are on track to graduate in 4 years.
So I think under circumstances like that, I would say that's academic bankruptcy.
Academic bankruptcy, according to Robinson, is a term that was used in the 1990s when America saw a slew of large city school districts taken over by their state governments. Boston, Detroit, Philadelphia, St. Louis, Chicago, New York City, and Cleveland all saw their school systems taken over. School takeovers, according to Robinson, can inject new ideas into a troubled district, which can help with curriculum and budgets. But do they work? Project Baltimore looked at Detroit, a city facing similar financial and academic challenges to Baltimore. Detroit public schools were placed under control of an emergency manager for 17 years, from 1999 to 2016. So was the takeover successful? This report, published in 2019, says no. The report found startling mismanagement by state managers, including an estimated $610 million in wasteful spending and a failure to address plummeting student achievement and enrollment. According to the report, test scores continue to lag behind state averages in almost every category. By 2013, only 4% of fourth grade students were proficient in math, and only 7% were proficient in reading.
So there was a whole takeover theme in the 1990s.
What happened in Detroit is similar to other cities, according to a group called the Intercultural Development Research Association, which studied large city takeovers in 2020. They found, overall, takeovers cause political turmoil and tend to destabilize districts, which can lead to teacher and staff turnover. For these reasons and others, Robinson says large school city takeovers over the last 20 years fell out of favor.
There's a new superintendent that is now in place.
That is, until last week, when the Texas Education Agency took over the Houston Independent School District, the state's largest system.
These are schools that have been underfunded by our state for many, many years.
The TEA plans to replace Houston's elected school board with state-appointed managers who will have the power to hire and fire the superintendent. They will also control the budget, policies, school closures, and curriculum. Texas has done this before, taking control of the Beaumont Independent School District in 2014. In that case, student achievement did not improve, but the financial condition of the district did, according to the Houston Chronicle.
When you have 10 students out of almost 300 passing a state math examination, that is not acceptable.
The idea of a school takeover has been discussed in Maryland, but not recently. In 2006, then Maryland State Superintendent Nancy Grasmick tried but failed to take over a few Baltimore City schools.
At what point should a state consider taking over a school system?
Before we talk about a takeover, let's talk about a takeaway. Why do we take away some of the regulatory impediments that stop reform?
Those takeaways, Robinson says, include things like rewriting union contracts to allow principals and school leaders more freedom to make meaningful change within their schools.
Because we know that having a great teacher certified in his or her area of work is one of the best ways to close the achievement gap. When 7% of your students are literate in math, that's a problem. Because I know that there's a school-to-prison pipeline, and math skills in particular are important, and we need to change it and change it fast.
I'm Chris Pabst, and this is Project Baltimore.
All right. Okay, so I'm just pleasantly delighted you're talking about a little bit nicer of a climate for today. I mean, yesterday was just kind of soggy, Amy. It was
exactly. Two different extremes for the weekend. We got the rain out of the way early on. Today's going to be a welcome treat. Now, our average high for today is around 58 degrees. We're going to get above that. By April 1st, we bumped that average high up to 61. By May 1st, we're talking low 70s. By June 1st, an average high close to 80. And then by July 1st, the heat is on with average highs headed for the upper 80s. Today's going to feel April-like, actually late April-like, once temperatures reach the mid and upper 60s. We're starting off with the sun. We didn't see much of it yesterday. It is back in full force today, and it's really going to help us out. Even this morning, we're milder than we were yesterday morning. We're starting off with low 50s, mid 40s, just kind of depending on where you are. And these numbers are only warming up from here on out today. So we are looking at a nice dry day. That weather maker that sent us all the rain yesterday, that has since moved on. Coming in behind it, not much of anything today. We've got crystal clear skies across our region this morning, and that's going to be the case all day long. Now, you can see the signs of our next weather maker. If you look at the very edge of the screen, you can see a little warm front trying to peek in there. That's what's actually going to head our direction early this week. So we've got one dry day, though. So right now we are just tracking temperatures. Temperatures warming through the 40s into the 50s to near 60 degrees by lunchtime. And then I think we end the day in the very pleasant, very spring-like mid-60s today. Clouds rush back in tomorrow morning. We're dry to begin your morning drive, but then some showers work their way back in. So we've got a new little weather maker coming in on Monday. Nothing really significant here, just some on and off showers starting Monday morning and taking us through the afternoon. High temperatures will still manage to reach the upper 50s to near 60 degrees before that rain gets out of here late Monday. So here's how the next couple of days play out. Today's definitely the nicest. It's dry, it's mild, highs in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, some scattered showers make a brief return, and a passing shower will actually linger through Tuesday, with temperatures cooling back off into the mid-50s. Temperatures are actually trending very close to normal all week long, so that average high of 58, we're right around it every single day, at least through week's end. Average high temperatures will be, or actual high temperatures will be close to the average of 58 degrees. And if you're wondering, is this going to last? According to our 6 to 10-day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, we are included in that orange color. So that means a decent chance for above average temperatures all the way through early April, through April 4th. In the short term, temperatures at or above average almost every day here. We've got that rain chance coming up Monday into Tuesday. We're dry midweek with highs in the near normal upper 50s. Upper 50s is where we'll stay through Friday, but then check out Saturday. What a treat. Although we are tracking some scattered showers as we head into next weekend, temperatures will be briefly warming back into the mid-70s on Saturday. Taylor?
All right, the group suing the city over bi-monthly trash pickup filing a second lawsuit against the city. Their new claim about the issues within DPW just ahead. And the Be More Healthy Expo took over the Baltimore Convention Center just ahead, the sights and the sounds from a busy day downtown. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning. All right, we have a recall alert for you this morning. Elkhorn Valley Packing is recalling over 3,000 pounds of beef, okay? Their product, the boneless beef chuck, was distributed to retailers, hotels, wholesalers here in Maryland and in several other states. Now, the Food Safety Department found a possible strain of E. coli in the beef. Thankfully, no one's gotten sick. Many people right now are fighting to improve the housing crisis in Baltimore. Just ahead, the 2 ideas women have to change the landscape and help those in need. And we're looking at temperatures in the 60s, mostly sunny skies today. Meteorologist Amy Aronson is going to take a look at how your work week is shaping on up. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 Morning News.
Oh man, look at that. That sunrise is just looking gorgeous, shining down those buildings and the water, looking live over the Inner Harbor. It's going to be a great Sunday, so thanks for being with us here this March 26th. I'm Taylor Stewart. Let's get over to your forecast because it's already looking like it's going to be a beautiful one.
Yeah, much nicer day today for anything you want to do outside. Yesterday, kind of a bummer. It rained pretty much on and off all day. Today's a completely different forecast and a different story. Upper 40s to near 50 to begin. Feels very nice and spring-like out there to start. And it's only going to get warmer as we head through the rest of the day. Perfect reason to get some outdoor exercise in this morning. You're up against some sunshine along with some pretty comfy temperatures. We're starting the day off in the upper 40s, low 50s, but we should end the day in the mid to upper 60s. So finally, feeling like spring here in the Baltimore area again. Now, coming up in 10 minutes, I'll let you know exactly how long these milder temperatures are going to stick around and when we are tracking our next chance of some showers. Taylor?
This is, regardless of the issues at play, I think we all can say we have some pause about accepting contaminated water from the derailment.
That plan to bring the contaminated water from the Ohio train derailment here to Maryland, it's just not going well with local leaders because Baltimore County and Baltimore City leaders, they've got their concerns because of the Back River wastewater treatment plant. It already has its own problems it's dealing with. Keith Daniels takes us through the plan and some of those serious doubts.
Baltimore City Mayor Brandon Scott and Baltimore County Executive Johnny Olszewski, say they both just learned about this plan. They got a letter from the contractor who's proposing to process this water.
I have a lot of questions. We have since followed up with the governor's office.
The contractor is Clean Harbors Environmental and Industrial Services, selected by the Environmental Protection Agency and the Maryland Department of the Environment to treat and discharge the wastewater at the city's Department of Public Works Back River Wastewater Treatment Plant in Dundalk. The city and county share that wastewater system.
Getting answers from the railroad company.
Tensions high Wednesday night.
Neighbors are telling us they want answers and they want help.
It's going up now.
This comes a month after a fiery train derailment on the Ohio-Pennsylvania border. The contaminated wastewater from that derailment to be treated now here in the Baltimore area. The Baltimore County executive says he and the mayor have questions and concerns, including how the wastewater will get to Maryland and for the overall operation.
We want to make sure, really, this is about what's going into the system. There's a chance to make sure that before we introduce any of this water into our system, that we are clear about what is happening, having questions answered, ensuring appropriate testing is in place.
The Back River plant has recently faced troubles. Just last year, the plant was taken over by the state after objects that looked like feces were found floating in the water near the plant. A report from workers at the Maryland Environmental Service revealed that there were failures at, quote, nearly every level of the city-owned plant. Problems including murky discharge from hydrants and broken electrical boxes. Still, leaders from the city and county believe Back River can handle this latest load, despite past issues.
To be clear, we're talking about two different issues, though. The issues that were raised in letters and other actions were around the treatment of the sewage that was going through our wastewater treatment system. This is, regardless of the issues at play, I think we all can say we have some pause about accepting contaminated water from the derailment.
All right, Mayor Brandon Scott released an updated statement about this plan. He says both Baltimore City and county leaders have been in contact with the governor's office, and they're confident that the river can handle the surge. Now, the mayor's office says he's also getting a legal opinion as to whether the city's required to discharge waste from the derailment. As Keith mentioned, some of the issues at the Back River plant, the building itself is still under repair because of that gas fire that led to explosion like just 9 days ago. DPW officials say no waste disposal operations were impacted by that explosion, though, but they are reporting some progress in a plan to cut back on forever chemicals in the water, PFAs as they're called. Those levels are now below an EPA threshold at all 3 treatment plants in Baltimore. You can see all the reporting we have on these chemicals and the prior issues at that plant on our website, foxbaltimore.com. Well, meanwhile, DPW is facing legal action over a rollback, and that's the recycling pickup. A group of residents have now filed 2 lawsuits saying the plan violates the city's own code. Desmond City is the lead plaintiff on those 2 lawsuits against the city. Now, this past week, a petition filed in Baltimore Circuit Court lists his name and hundreds of others in a suit against Baltimore City over the $15 million in funding going towards Clean Corps, the new initiative that encourages residents to help pick up trash.
And we feel like any resources that are, especially the discretionary resources that is being thrown around for any type of sanitation services will be best used to fund our city agency. Anything other than that would be competing with our city agency.
He now wants a judge to look at this decision that's being made at the city level, and he asked the courts to step in if the funding and stop the funding for the mayor's Clean Core initiative.
Money has been misused, for the program. There's a public health concern with having untrained workers out there dealing with biological waste.
That suit was filed with an emergency injunction, and it should be heard by a judge within a week or 2. So we'll keep you updated on the new developments in this case. In a story we brought you first on Fox this week, FOX45 News, we've got a letter from the Maryland Department of Environment that claims the city violated the law by failing to notify people about September's E. coli contamination in a timely manner.
They said that we followed their protocols to a T.
MDE did not say that you guys followed it by a T. They told DPW multiple times on Sunday to issue the BWA, and it didn't happen.
No, I think that what you're saying is you're accusing DPW of ignoring what MDE said.
They did, according to the emails.
Now, FOX45's Mackenzie Frost has been following this story intensively, and her reporting is available right now at foxbaltimore.com. Family and friends hold a vigil for a Patterson High School student who was gunned down. Isaiah Carter, he has a message, and they have a message they want to send to lawmakers.
Yes, we're looking forward to a dry and a milder day ahead of us, but the one issue that comes with that, the pollen. Maple, birch, willow, that's our issue right now. I'll let you know why I am tracking a little bit of a dip in pollen levels over the next couple of days in just a few minutes. It's 7:37. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News.
All right, it's been an ongoing fight to improve the housing crisis in Baltimore City, and it's going to take an innovative approach to change the landscape. In this week's Maryland Moment, photojournalist Drew Fox and Maxine Stryker introduce you to two women pitching their ideas at a local Shark Tank.
Housing in Baltimore has always been complicated.
There is so much housing issues here in Baltimore.
From historic redlining.
We'd love to see new lines drawn.
To a crisis of abandoned homes.
Areas like West Baltimore are still being impacted, 16,000 vacant lots.
It's a generational problem that's yet to be solved. Luckily, there are plenty pushing for change.
There are so many people in Baltimore with great ideas, and they just need a platform to be heard.
That platform right here at Loyola University.
A real estate love fest for building community.
The Shark Tank of sorts was organized by women in real estate for women of color to pitch their unique ideas.
My name is Ruth Travis.
My name is Reverend Chandra Caples-Webb.
Ruth and Chandra are hoping to catch the attention of the sharks in the room.
Ruth Pink House will be a place where breast cancer survivors can come for rest and relaxation.
Ruth Travis is pitching a recovery house where women can come before, during, and after breast cancer treatment.
Can you just go into a little bit more detail for me about the house itself?
The Pink House, we will have nutritional sessions. I will let them celebrate their years of survival or their birthday there.
Ruth believes your environment has everything to do with how you heal.
I want a kitchen. I want a movie theater, life lessons that we talk about.
7 minutes is up, Miss Ruth. Thank you very much. Good job.
Reverend Chandra Caples-Webb was up next.
And I started giving food away out of the trunk of my car every time I got a load of food.
Her idea aimed at helping feed and clothe those in Baltimore, some without a place to call home.
What I need from you, I need a truck. My little car, which I call the DM, the donation mobile, is constantly full, and I'm running things between Baltimore City and Baltimore County.
The Sharks, all leaders in their field, were impressed with both plans.
So we want to thank both of you for pitching.
But ultimately, there could only be one winner.
So, it's the pink house with the pink outfit and the pink nails and the pink shoes, and it's
Ruth's Pink House, now one step closer to becoming reality.
Now I feel like the vision is kind of coming into fruition, and I'm just excited.
Ruth will now have assistance with her business plan and financial advisement moving forward.
Tonight I can go home with a little more hope that this can become a reality.
She knows her idea has the potential to change the landscape of Baltimore for many women navigating a difficult time.
Because so many people need help and they don't know where to go to find it.
And the room recognized that too.
All right, just ahead in our 8 o'clock hour, a look inside Maryland Live Power Plant in Baltimore as the Maryland festivities took place. And 25,000 people packed out the Baltimore Convention Center yesterday for the Be More Healthy Expo. Just ahead, take a look at the scenes from the lively downtown day. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning. All right, if you were one of the 25,000 people yesterday who came out to the Be More Healthy Expo, thanks for joining us. We have the sights and sounds here from photojournalist Brandon Dobbs as he takes us through the scenes yesterday. Take a look.
The Be More Healthy Expo is going to start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let the expo begin.
We are at the Be More Healthy Fair, the best place to be on this Saturday every year.
Today is the day, and I'm happy to be here.
This fair has everything you need to be healthy.
I feel great to be a part of the expo. I have a friend who had a stroke at a really young age, so I'm really excited about the opportunity to, just give some more information about stroke in the young population. University of Maryland has a little bit of everything here, so we'll be talking about strokes, we'll be talking about healthy eating, blood pressure, you name it, we got it.
Now we cooked the tomato down to increase that flavor.
This is where the community comes together. We connect here at the Be More Healthy Fair. It is about learning something to keep your life in stride. You can take any kind of information you need to be healthier.
We performed
a lot, like in parades and stuff like that. But it being in such a big crowd, it's just so to like see the governor like this close to me, I'm like, I can't wait to tell my AP government teacher.
Our health is our foundation, and so watching people engaged and involved and smiling, this is a beautiful, beautiful day.
Peace sign, we're throwing peace. Ooh.
He is so funny. I love the name Damon.
We love the Be More Healthy Expo. Thank you for coming to our booth each and every year. You know who you are. I hug you every year. I sign autographs. We are so happy to connect with you, and we'll see you next year.
Oh my gosh, it was such a fun event. I'm sure people got out and enjoyed themselves there. We received a lot of chime-in pictures from the expo, and there's nothing wrong with taking a load off here. Look at Elzina sent us this picture. It's a little guy giving his feet up, a little rest after walking around the expo yesterday. Look at that. Okay, and then here's little a weather rendition they had. Michael, he's getting weather practice on that green screen, working with our very own Jonathan Myers. Thanks to Debbie Gunsel for sharing this one. All right, go ahead and keep sending your pictures and videos to us through Chime In. Go to foxbaltimore.com/chimein or download that WBFF app. I mean, that story, it put it together in such a nice way. You didn't even realize it was raining and like super soggy outside of the building yesterday.
It was the perfect day to go out and be inside and warm and dry at the expo. I saw a lot of you at the weather wall too. Hopefully you have your videos. You all did great. You did better than me taking a chance on that. But here's a look at our forecast for today. I noticed yesterday when I got home after all the rain, my grass needs cutting already. I can't believe it. I haven't done it yet this season. If you're in the same boat, today looks awesome for it. It's on my list of things to do. Dry and mild today, so I'm giving it the green light. Tomorrow, not as nice. We are tracking some scattered showers, so the yellow light. If you're going to procrastinate and put it off until Tuesday, Tuesday looks okay too, just a passing shower. At that point, we are looking at sunshine today. Great excuse to get outside and maybe start doing some yard work. Start prepping your garden for the spring season. We're at 50 degrees right now with a westerly wind at 14 miles an hour, plus crystal clear skies over the Inner Harbor. And we are dry today. Behind that weather maker that sent us all the rain yesterday, that is well offshore now. Things are looking great. I do want to point out our next weather maker. You can see it here at the edge of the screen. That's what's going to head our direction and sends us a chance for rain as early as tomorrow. So let's talk timing. Today we don't have any problems at all. We've got tons of sunshine for the afternoon, increasing clouds tonight and increasing rain chances tomorrow. By the end of your morning drive, we're tracking some on and off showers, scattered showers through the afternoon, and then we'll start to dry out as that weather maker moves on. And I think we are looking at improving conditions as we head through Tuesday and midweek. Today's going to be one of the warmer days of the week ahead. Not only are we tracking sunshine today and dry conditions, temperatures will end up in the mid and upper 60s this afternoon, which puts us about 10 degrees above average. Perfect night to maybe dust off the grill and break it out for the season. Tonight's going to be a nice evening for grilling outside, with temperatures starting in the mid 60s and eventually settling back into the upper and mid 50s as the night goes on. Tomorrow doesn't look quite as nice for anything outside. I am throwing in that chance for scattered showers, not quite as warm with highs closer to 60. A passing shower will wrap up on Tuesday. Otherwise, we're back in the mid-50s. And then temperatures actually stay near normal every single day this week. So we'll spend both Wednesday and Thursday in the upper 50s. But by week's end, I am tracking another warming trend. So we're back in the upper 60s on Friday with some scattered showers. Although scattered showers will linger through Saturday, Saturday's going to be nice and warm. We've got mid-70s for the start of the weekend. Taylor?
Awesome. I love that. Okay, Maryland's day went from sweet to elite with a win. How the Terps punch their ticket to the next round and who they'll face? That's coming up next. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning.
Welcome into your morning sports report. I'm Rocco DeSangro. It's sweet to be one of 16 teams remaining, but Maryland's last 2 trips have been a bit sour. Terps eyeing a much different result this time around. With the win over Notre Dame, they would punch their ticket to the Elite Eight, but a loss would mark the team's 3rd straight Sweet 16 defeat. 2-seed Terps, 3-seed Irish, winner moving on. Irish controlled the second quarter, leading by as many as 8. Maryland would cut the lead to 1 at the half thanks to this Brene Alexander three-pointer. Nails it from the corner, and much like the Arizona game, it was a different Terps team coming out of the locker room to start the third. Tied at 44, Lavender Briggs connects from deep to give Maryland the lead. And then it was Miller time. Diamond with the bucket, the foul. She was shining bright. Cheyenne Sellers getting hers as well. The 1-2 punch of Miller and Sellers combined for 36 points. How about Maryland dominating in the second half for the 76-59 win? The Terps are onto the Elite Eight for the first time since the 2014-2015 campaign.
When you talk about this journey and you take it from a year ago and all the question marks coming in, losing 85% of your offense to now sitting in an Elite Eight, and just the hard work behind the scenes with your staff and the players, the trust and the belief that started last offseason. So I was reflecting on it today, just a year, what I felt like a year ago, and to where we are today. And so, yeah, this one is going to be one I'll remember for a really long time.
Just to know that we're making history right now is amazing, and we're not done yet. We're really excited for whoever we play, and yeah, it's kind of cool, you know?
Ryan Ripken, he is joining us in studio, now a baseball insider. Ryan, how are you, man, first and foremost?
I'm doing great. I mean, I'm a lot better because you know what? Baseball is right around the corner. Opening day next week, you got to be excited.
Absolutely, and we're going to talk about the excitement level of opening day in just a little bit. But first, we're going to talk about the opening day starter. That's Kyle Gibson, the veteran righty, comes over on a 1-year deal to the Baltimore Orioles. High names him the starter. Were you surprised at all, and what are your expectations for him?
So not surprised at all. I mean, look, Kyle Gibson has the experience. He's been around for a while, and you kind of want that veteran leadership to get you started off on the right foot for the season. He's been there. He's done that. So I think a lot of Oriole fans can be excited to see him take the mound on opening day.
So let's talk excitement level now. 1 being bottom of the barrel team, not making the playoffs, just last place team like they kind of have been years past before last year. 10 being a World Series baseball club.
So if scales 1 to 10, we're at an 11. I mean, fans should be really excited about this team. I mean, I'm ecstatic. I mean, look, we're finally seeing the Orioles come out of the rebuild. We've seen it for a while now, and the team is ready to take off. Now, we don't know which way that's going to go yet. The team could have some growing pains. It's a young team, but the excitement and really not knowing what we're going to see, that's the exciting part of the whole journey. And I think the Baltimore Orioles in 2023 are going to be exhilarating to watch.
Since it's getting a little nicer out, a little hotter out the weather, we're gonna talk some hot takes. What's your biggest hot take ahead of this season?
Well, hot take, we know how good Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson can be, right? But I think Adley's going to be a top 5. Better yet, let's say he's a top 3 MVP candidate. And I think Gunnar Henderson actually is going to be Rookie of the Year. And if people have heard me talk about Gunnar for the last year or so since I've been going on TV or radio, I've been raving about him. I got to see him in spring training and over the years. He is the real deal, and I think the combination of both those players. And can I do a bold take, if I may add?
You can, Matt. Take it away.
Bold take, though, for the year. I think we're going to see the Orioles and Blue Jays come out of the AL East, and the Red Sox and the Yankees, the 2 powerhouses that we have seen for so long, will not make the playoffs altogether.
Wow, the bold takes are coming in, man. Gotta love it. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Of course. Look forward to many more.
Yes, sir. So let's check in on those birds. Spring training action continues from Florida. O's taking on the Pirates. Big 7th inning for the O's. Anthony Ben-Boom with the 2-run homer here. 5 strong innings from Tyler Wells. DL Hall went 2 1/3, 1 earned, 3 Ks. And the O's beat the Pirates 6-4. The final score. Maryland men's lacrosse went from losing 2 games in a season for the first time since 2019 to knocking off the #1 team in the land. And the defending national champs, they're back for more. #2 Terps hosting #9 Penn State. How about Dante Trader Jr.? He plays football. He plays lacrosse. He's good at both. Dude is just an athlete. Scores here, just rockets one into the back of the net. One of his 2 goals on the day, Loyola Blakefield's own Jack Corris. He's been lighting it up this year, the junior midfielder, registering his 3rd straight hattie as the Terps go on to beat Penn State, 13-10 the final. Number 8 Johns Hopkins on the road in Ann Arbor for a meeting with Michigan. Garrett Degnan could not be stopped. He led the Blue Jays with 5 goals. Degnan, Russell Melendez, and Brandon Grimes all had hat tricks, combining for 13 goals in the 15-11 victory. That's your morning sports report. I'm Rocco DeSangro. Have a great Sunday.
Critics say the Biden administration wants to make you suffer with their green agenda. I'll tell you about the newest energy rules in just a few minutes.
And I heard someone say, I heard it was Isaiah. And I didn't want to believe it was my Isaiah.
A community in pain after 16-year-old Isaiah Carter shot and killed near his high school earlier this month. What his family wants in his memory.
They're still afraid to leave their children. They're still afraid when their kids walk out of the door. They're afraid to go to work because of the violence.
And crime in Baltimore continues to rise as several bills hang in the balance in Annapolis. We're pressing leaders at the city and the state level as to what they're doing to improve your safety.
And we are looking at a much prettier day ahead of us. I'll explain the reason why in just a couple of minutes.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 Morning News.
Oh man, look at that. Just a glorious sunrise on this Sunday morning. Thanks for being with us. You're in the right place. It's March 26th. I'm Taylor Stewart. And let's talk about what matters here. That's sunrise. Meteorologist Amy Aronson, good morning.
Good morning, Taylor. Yeah, much better day out there. Yesterday we had the rain, the clouds, that sun. Now we're hanging out in the mid and upper 40s right now, actually close to 50 in some spots. Already off to a milder start than yesterday. Our numbers are up about 5 to 10 degrees in most spots right now, and that's a sign of where these numbers are going later today. Blue skies and sunshine, much different than yesterday, and that's going to help us warm up too. So we are back in the low 60s by midday. Upper 60s is where we'll end the day. Going to feel much milder out there for whatever you have planned outside today. Now, coming up in 10 minutes, I'll let you know exactly how long this dry, mild stretch is going to last and when we are tracking our next weather maker. Taylor?
In a city in crisis, youth violence is continuing to plague Baltimore. A 19-year-old was killed and at least 13 others over the past 4 days. Now, another victim, you recall 16-year-old Isaiah Carter. He was gunned down outside Patterson High School earlier this month. And yesterday, his family and his friends gathered where he was killed. Vincent Hill has more on the message they want to send to state legislators as this session continues.
A pledge to keep the name and memory of Isaiah Carter alive.
Isaiah, we want you to know that we love you, baby. We love you. We love you.
To those who knew him, he could strike a chord.
He was annoying, as God knows how much, but I loved him for it.
Described as a quirky kid, taken away by gun violence, something his fellow students have become numb to.
Well, someone got shot. I don't know who it was, but now after-school activities are like canceled.
Unfazed by what seems to be the norm for Baltimore City schools, until hearing the news it was her friend.
And I heard someone say, I heard it was Isaiah. And I didn't want to believe it was my Isaiah.
For Isaiah's mother, Michelle Hines, her son's death, a constant reminder of her biggest fear.
If I predicted in January, do not call me in 2 to 3 weeks to tell me that my child is shot by a disgruntled student. And in 2 to 3 weeks, I get a call, and the people on the other end can't even catch their breath.
Her son's killer arrested in Texas. But her fear amplified because of the 2 other teens she sends to Baltimore City schools.
Even the anxiety of letting them leave, I'm afraid.
Along with that fear, anger at the school system.
But we have no safety for schools. My child was murdered, literally. We can see the school. We can see the school.
That frustration even directed at Governor Wes Moore's plan to combat crime in Baltimore.
He ends up saying, well, I have a plan for a $1.something billion plan to put into Baltimore City Police. You use my son as the talking point.
She says words and promises of money are not enough to bring her son back or protect her other 2 kids from gun violence in Baltimore City.
We need more. Like, we need the state to really pay attention. We need legislators to put this energy into making real changes, like immediately.
All right, that was Vincent Hill reporting there. Now, Governor Wes Moore spoke to our Kai Jackson about what the state's doing in regards to violence. Now, this happened at the Be More Healthy Expo, and take a listen to what he said he's doing with local police departments.
We have a record investment, $122 million going to local law enforcement, $17.5 million going to Baltimore City alone. Historic investments in the Maryland Coordination and Analysis Center, and we've actually brought Baltimore City in to the Analysis Center for the first time in 8 years.
How's that partnership going?
And it's going really well because we're trying to see now, we're doing everything that on the state level to be able to make sure we're increasing coordination, putting actually more resources on the ground, making sure we're supporting law enforcement officers and supporting law enforcement agencies.
Now, Isaiah's family is not the only family to lose young people this year. 7 city school students have been killed. This includes Deja Garrison. She was the first person killed in the city on New Year's Day. And then January 16th, you recall Deontay Dorsey. He was killed near his high school outside of Edmonton Village Shopping Center. 4 other students were also involved in that shooting. They were hurt. And then just days after that, 15-year-old LaRon Henderson was killed in an alley just blocks away from Forest Park High School. Now, this year's session is winding down in Annapolis, and there's still several crime bills that are hanging in the balance. Maxine Stryker has more on why this has some worried about the fate of Baltimore City.
It was one of the most violent days of the year. In Baltimore City Thursday, 11 people were shot, and local boxer 33-year-old Ernest Hall was killed in a mass shooting along Edmondson Avenue.
It's a cliche when people pass away, everyone says, all the good things. He was this, he was that, but Ernie was he was a gem for the city of Baltimore.
Homicide numbers are down compared to this time last year, and city and state leaders are touting success. But we took a closer look at the numbers and found it may be too soon to celebrate. January of this year, 26 people were killed on the streets of Baltimore. That's 10 less than January 2022, when 36 people were killed in what was the deadliest January ever. But the year prior, 27 people were killed, almost the same as this year. And last month, 17 people were killed, one more than February 2022.
The people that we've talked to are also not in agreement with the city leaders. They're still afraid to leave their children. They're still afraid when their kids walk out of the door. They're afraid to go to work because of the violence.
In Annapolis, with just 2 weeks left in the session, several major crime-fighting bills are stuck in committee, including attempts to make stealing a handgun a felony, increasing penalties for repeat violent offenders, and lengthening jail time for illegal gun possession, a bill championed by City State's Attorney Ivan Bates. He lobbied for the bill in Annapolis earlier this week and has been adamant about getting tough on crime.
I've gone to too many funerals. I've gone to too many and watched too many people and young boys
All right, 389 never looks so good. So lots of people came out to celebrate the day that commemorates the arrival of the first European settlers. I can't talk this early morning. On St. Clement's Island back in 1634. Power Plant Live hosted plenty of activities, including the annual Maryland Day Festival. It brought together some of Maryland's best, including food truck vendors, performers, and people just there to spread some positive vibes.
We're a Maryland company, so we really support Maryland, other Maryland companies. So this was the perfect way to come out, support the community, and spread the word about a local Maryland company.
3 years ago, we read a negative news story in the paper, and we thought that we were better than this. We made one simple "Be Kind" sign. Neighbors responded to it, so we made more. We gift them. We partnered with other nonprofits to amplify their voices, because everything functions a little bit better when you're around kind and empathetic people.
Ain't that the truth? Well, if you missed yesterday's festivities, don't worry. There are plenty of Maryland Day events throughout the week and next week. We've got them all for you. Just go over to marylanddayorg.com. My bad. All right, one beef company is recalling their beef products just ahead why it's being taken off of store shelves right here in Maryland. And the Biden administration is cracking down on air conditioners. Why the home appliance is under scrutiny. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning. All right, we've got a recall alert for you this morning. Elkhorn Valley is recalling over 3,000 pounds of beef. Their boneless beef chuck was distributed to wholesalers and retailers right here in Maryland and several other states. The Department of Agriculture is saying they've detected a possible strain in E. coli. E. coli in the beef has been linked to sicknesses, but thankfully there have been no reports of people getting sick from this batch of beef. In your consumer news, but the Biden administration is now cracking down on air conditioners. It's the latest home appliance under scrutiny for efficiency standards by the Department of Energy. Critics call the standards a government overreach. The National Desk's Janae Brown has more.
A lot of people are voicing their frustrations over the new standards for room or window air conditioners and portable air cleaners. Check out this tweet from Congressman Ronnie Jackson of Texas. He says in part, the only goal of the green agenda is making you suffer. Meanwhile, Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm says it will help save on people's energy bills and reduce our nation's carbon footprint. Now, I spoke with environmental expert Ben Lieberman of the Competitive Enterprise Institute. He says this regulation and the ones for gas gas stoves, furnaces, washing machines, and dishwashers can negatively impact product performance and end up harming consumers in the long run.
What these regulations do is essentially force the eco-friendly choice on everyone, like it or not. And it's not always the best decision because some of these regulations boost the upfront cost of these appliances more than you'll earn back in the form of energy savings in their use.
The Department of Energy says households using new room air conditioners and portable air cleaners will save an estimated $150 over the average life of the appliances. And they expect these standards to save American families and consumers approximately $1.5 billion per year on their electricity bills and decrease harmful carbon dioxide emissions by 106 million metric tons over 30 years. Now, critics argue that's not worth it, and air pollution is less of a threat and does not warrant these rules. Reporting for the National Desk, I'm Janae Bowens.
All right, the country's largest retailer is making some big cuts in its tech sector. Now, Walmart is cutting hundreds of employees in its e-commerce facilities across the country. Now, they say inflation is in fact affecting their bottom line, and these cuts are pretty much in line with what we've seen with other big companies in tech cutting their workforces. United Airlines and partner Archer Aviation are launching an air taxi service from Chicago's O'Hare Airport to Chicago's downtown. It's set to launch in 2025. The partnership will utilize Archer's electrical vertical takeoff landing aircraft to Chicago's downtown airport. Archer's Midnight aircraft can carry 4 United customers at a time up to 100 miles. Archer says it hopes to be able to compete cost-wise with Uber Black ground transportation at about $100 a trip. Okay, let's get over to meteorologist Amy Aronson. This would be a great day for flying, as something would maybe Justin would say.
Yeah, exactly. Beautiful day for anything outside. Much better than yesterday. Temperatures today are going to be running about 10 degrees above today's average high of 58. Now, by April 1st, in just a couple of days, that average high warms to 61. By May 1st, 72. By June 1st, 80 degrees. And by July 1st, 88 degrees. That means warmer average days ahead of us. And today we're going to get a taste of that with a little mini warm up today. We have the sunshine getting higher and higher in the sky. You can see the rays shining down on Towson, helping bring our numbers up through the 40s into the low 50s already. And these numbers are only going up. This is all in wake of our latest weather maker that has since moved on. Dry weather behind it. Not much happening locally on the weather map, but we can see a new weather maker already taking shape there in the very last frame of this loop on this weather map. As we head through the rest of the day today, tons of sunshine. We will get into the upper 50s by lunchtime, mid 60s by the afternoon, upper 60s in some spots. So feeling really, really nice today for whatever you have planned. Increasing clouds by Monday morning. We're dry to start off your Monday morning drive, but showers quickly return by the end of it. They will be light, they will be scattered, and they will continue through Monday afternoon, wrapping up Monday night. After that, I think we are looking at a couple of drier days ahead midweek. But more showers, at least as we kick off a brand new week. That means enjoy the sunshine today. Mid-60s today, perfect for anything you want to do outside, maybe some yard work, get the garden prep for the spring season. Tomorrow's not quite as nice. We've got scattered showers and highs backing off into the upper 50s. Mid-50s will follow on Tuesday, along with that chance for a passing shower. And after that, temperatures are trending close to normal this week. We'll spend both Wednesday and Thursday in the upper 50s, which actually puts us right around where we should be, our average high right around 58. And according to the Climate Prediction Center, there's a decent chance for warmer than average temperatures as we head through the end of the month and actually kick off April. So this outlook runs from March 31st all the way through April 4th. And you'll notice we are back in this orange color here. And that means a decent chance for above average temperatures as we kick off a brand new month. In our 7-day forecast, we do have some temperature ups and downs for the final few days of March. We've got mid-50s, for example, on Tuesday with that passing shower, upper 50s both Wednesday and Thursday. But by the end of the 7-day, look at that. As we kick off April next weekend, it's going to feel like it. Mid-60s on Friday with some scattered showers. Scattered showers will linger Saturday, but how about that high temperature of a warm 74 degrees? Taylor?
Sounds good. The group suing the city over bi-monthly trash pickup filing a second lawsuit against the city. Their new claim about issues with DPW, just ahead. And there are lots of folks that are fighting to improve the housing crisis here in Baltimore. Well, 2 women have some ideas that could help change the landscape. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning. All right, there's a whole lot of people who are fighting to improve the housing situation here in Baltimore City, but it's going to take some innovative ideas to really change the landscape. Well, in this week's Maryland Moment, photojournalist Drew Fox and Maxine Stryker introduce you to two women who are pitching their ideas at a local Shark Tank.
Housing in Baltimore has always been complicated.
There is so much housing issues here in Baltimore.
From historic redlining.
We'd love to see new lines drawn.
To a crisis of abandoned homes.
Areas like West Baltimore are still being impacted, 16,000 vacant lots.
It's a generational problem that's yet to be solved. Luckily, there are plenty pushing for change.
There are so many people in Baltimore with great ideas, and they just need a platform to be heard.
That platform right here at Loyola University.
A real estate love fest for building community.
The Shark Tank of sorts was organized by women in real estate for women of color to pitch their unique ideas.
My name is Ruth Travis.
My name is Reverend Chandra Caples-Webb.
Ruth and Chandra are hoping to catch the attention of the sharks in the room.
Ruth Pink House will be a place where breast cancer survivors can come for rest and relaxation.
Ruth Travis is pitching a recovery house where women can come before, during, and after breast cancer treatment.
Can you just go into a little bit more detail for me about the house itself?
The Pink House, we will have nutritional sessions. I will let them celebrate their years of survival or their birthday there.
Ruth believes your environment has everything to do with how you heal.
I want a kitchen. I want a movie theater, life lessons that we talk about.
7 minutes is up, Miss Ruth. Thank you very much. Good job.
Reverend Chandra Caples-Webb was up next.
And I started giving food away out of the trunk of my car every time I got a load of food.
Her idea aimed at helping feed and clothe those in Baltimore, some without a place to call home.
What I need from you, I need a truck. My little car, which I call the DM, the donation mobile, is constantly full, and I'm running things between Baltimore City and Baltimore County.
The Sharks, all leaders in their field, were impressed with both plans.
So we want to thank both of you for pitching.
But ultimately, there could only be one winner.
So, it's the pink house with the pink outfit and the pink nails and the pink shoes, and it's
Ruth's Pink House, now one step closer to becoming reality.
Now I feel like the vision is kind of coming into fruition, and I'm just excited.
Ruth will now have assistance with her business plan and financial advisement moving forward.
Tonight I can go home with a little more hope that this can become a reality.
She knows her idea has the potential to change the landscape of Baltimore for many women navigating a difficult time.
Because so many people need help and they don't know where to go to find it.
And the room recognized that too.
The Be More Healthy Expo took over the Baltimore Convention Center. Just ahead, we're going to take a look at the photos that were submitted from the Expo. And guess what? Temperature is going to be mostly in the 60s today, mostly sunny skies. Yeah, meteorologist Amy Aronson is going to take a look at how your entire work week is shaping up. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 Morning News.
All right, look at that sky, look at that water. I mean, it's a great day to be in Baltimore. I mean, and you're starting it with us. So thanks for being with us this March 26th. I'm Taylor Stewart. Let's go to your forecast because I want to know about what's going on out there. Is it going to be like that all day?
Yeah, the good news is the sunshine is back and it's here to stay. Completely different than yesterday, right? We're in the upper 40s to near 50 to start, so already pretty comfy outside if you want to squeeze in some outdoor exercise so you can enjoy the rest of the day. You're just up against some sunshine this morning and warming temperatures. So if you're not a fan of the 40s, just wait a little bit. By 10, 11 a.m., we're breaking into the low and mid 50s and we'll continue to warm after that. So a perfect day for anything outside. Coming up in 10 minutes, I'll let you know exactly how long the sunshine's going to stick around and when I am tracking our next chance for some rain. Taylor?
This is, regardless of the issues at play, I think we all can say we have some pause about accepting contaminated water from the derailment.
The Department of Public Works is back in the spotlight as the EPA is unveiling a plan to bring contaminated water from the Ohio train derailment right here to Maryland to be cleaned. But Baltimore County and Baltimore City leaders have their concerns as the Back River wastewater treatment plant already has its own issues. Keith Daniels takes us through the plan and some serious doubts.
Baltimore City Mayor Brandon Scott and Baltimore County Executive Johnny Olszewski say they both just learned about this plan. They got a letter from the contractor who's proposing to process this water.
I have a lot of questions. We have since followed up with the governor's office.
The contractor is Clean Harbors Environmental and Industrial Services, selected by the Environmental Protection Agency and the Maryland Department of the Environment to treat and discharge the wastewater at the city's Department of Public Works Back River Wastewater Treatment Plant in Dundalk. The city and county share that wastewater system.
Getting answers from the railroad company.
Tensions high Wednesday night.
Neighbors are telling us they want answers and they want help.
It's going up now.
This comes a month after a fiery train derailment on the Ohio-Pennsylvania border. The contaminated wastewater from that derailment to be treated now here in the Baltimore area. The Baltimore County Executive says he and the mayor have questions and concerns, including how the wastewater will get to Maryland and for the overall operation.
We want to make sure, really, this is about what's going into the system. There's a chance to make sure that before we introduce any of this water into our system, that we are clear about what is happening, having questions answered, ensuring appropriate testing is in place.
The Back River plant has recently faced troubles. Just last year, the plant was taken over by the state after objects that looked like feces were found floating in the water near the plant. A report from workers at the Maryland Environmental Service revealed that there were failures at, quote, nearly every level of the city-owned plant. Problems including murky discharge from hydrants and broken electrical boxes. Still, leaders from the city and county believe Back River can handle this latest load, despite past issues.
To be clear, we're talking about two different issues, though. The issues that were raised in letters and other actions were around the treatment of the sewage that was going through our wastewater treatment system. This is, regardless of the issues at play, I think we all can say we have some pause about accepting contaminated water from the derailment.
Mayor Brandon Scott released an updated statement about the plan. Now, he says both Baltimore City and county leaders have been in contact with the governor's office, which is confident the river can handle the surge. The mayor also says his office is seeking a legal opinion right now on whether the city is required to discharge waste from the derailment. Now, Keith mentioned some of the issues at the Back River plant. Now, the building itself is still under repair because of the gas fire that led to an explosion just 10 days ago. DPW officials say none of their operations were impacted. Now, they're also reporting progress, though, in their plan to cut back on forever chemicals, PFAS, in the water supply. Levels are now below an EPA threshold for concern at all 3 treatment plants in Baltimore. You can see our reporting on these chemicals and prior issues at the Back River plant at FOX45.com. Meanwhile, DPW is facing legal action over a rollback in its recycling pickup. The group of residents filing 2 lawsuits say the plan violates the city's code. Desmond Stinney is the lead plaintiff in those 2 suits against the city. Now, this past week, a petition filed in Baltimore's Circuit Court lists his name and hundreds of others in a suit against the city over $15 million in funding going towards Clean Core, the new initiative that is encouraging residents to help pick up with their own trash.
And we feel like any resources that are, especially the discretionary resources that is being thrown around for any type of sanitation services will be best used to fund our city agency. Anything other than that would be competing with our city agency.
Stinney now wants a judge to review the decisions that are being made at the city level and ask the courts to step in and stop funding the mayor's Clean Core initiatives.
Money has been misused. For the program. There's a public health concern with having untrained workers out there dealing with biological waste.
Now, that suit was filed as an emergency injunction, and so it really should be heard by a judge within a week or 2. We'll keep you updated on any new developments in this case. In a story we brought you first on Fox this week, we obtained a letter from the Maryland Department of Environment. It says the city violated the law by failing to let people know about the E. coli crisis in September in a timely manner.
They said that we followed their protocols to a T.
MDE did not say that you guys followed it by a T. They told DPW multiple times on Sunday to issue the BWA, and it didn't happen.
No, I think that what you're saying is you're accusing DPW of ignoring what MDE said.
They did, according to the emails.
Well, Mackenzie Frost has been following this story really closely. Her reporting is available right now at foxbaltimore.com.
China pushes back on the calls to ban TikTok. What can Washington and the White House do now? I'm Scott Thuman on Capitol Hill with those options coming up next.
And I am looking at a nice day today for anything you want to do outside. Maybe that includes mowing the lawn for the first time this season. Dry and mild for that today, but scattered showers return tomorrow into Tuesday. I've got an updated look at the timeline of that rain and what it means for our nice warm temperatures in a couple of minutes. It's 8:36. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News.
All right, developing now, more than 100 million Americans use the app TikTok. It's now in the center of an intensifying fight between the U.S. and China. Political correspondent Scott Thuman has more.
An unusual sign of unity across Washington, teaming up against TikTok, the wildly popular app that intelligence officials say is allowing China to spy on Americans and dramatically shape what users see. Lawmakers giving the company CEO a verbal lashing this week, demanding its sale or an outright ban.
TikTok has repeatedly chosen the path for more control, more surveillance, and more manipulation.
But China telling the U.S. tough luck. According to the New York Times, a Chinese Commerce Ministry spokeswoman said forcing such a transaction would seriously undermine the confidence of investors, including China, to invest in the United States.
The Chinese are not bashful about retaliating. The Chinese have retaliated before. With us, they'll put it in a bigger picture. I mean, do they want to pick a fight with the U.S. right now?
Though some say it's a long overdue one.
The former president tried to ban TikTok more than 2 years ago, and the app has only grown in popularity since. What's taking so long?
I'm just not going to speak to the timeline or how long it takes.
We have known for years that TikTok is digital fentanyl. TikTok is a surveillance tool used by the Chinese Communist Party to try to compromise our country.
States and schools have enacted bans, and Biden has ordered it removed from any government devices. But if China refuses to cooperate or sell, the fight could end up in U.S. courts.
They can stand up to a judge and say, hey, look, here's a credible national security case. Congress is on our side with the Restrict Act. The Chinese are floating balloons over our head. Let us do this.
Despite this enthusiasm in Washington to force China's hand, it may still be a long process. Lawmakers say finding compromise between the different versions of the bill in the House and Senate could take months, even the rest of the year. On Capitol Hill, I'm Scott Thuman.
All right, let's go ahead and take a check of your steals and deals today.
The following segment is sponsored by Naki.
You guys, we have one of the hottest trends from one of your favorite beauty brands and anti-aging brands, Wrinkle Schminkles. Now, every time they come onto the show, and they've been coming on since the very beginning, we sell out. So pay attention because this is a new product. These are their self-dissolving micro needle patches, and here's how they work. You simply peel off the patch, apply with a bit of pressure, and you'll start to see the incredible results. I like to wear these overnight, and they literally melt into your skin. The micro needles are actually crystals on the patch infused with ingredients to plump and hydrate your skin, just like micro needling, a favorite celebrity skin treatment that you can now do at home. Collagen and peptides melt away and infuse deep down into the skin, helping smooth those fine lines and wrinkles, whether it's around your mouth, by your eyes, between your eyes. We all have our areas. Now, most skin treatments sit on top of your skin. The patches work below the surface, and the results come from inside out, into the dermal layers of your skin. We always sell out on Wrinkle Schminkles, so do not wait on this. They come in a pack of 4. Get a few boxes, try them out. Trust me, the results are fantastic. The deal on Wrinkle Schminkles microneedle patches is 25% off. These are a must-have in any beauty routine. Simply go to asadeals.com.
All right, now we're circling back to the concerns with DPW. Joining us now, we have Councilman Scheifler, who's been vocal about some of the issues within the department. You know, the latest thing we've seen is this group that filed an initial lawsuit against the city for trash pickup has now filed a second lawsuit against the Clean Core initiative. I know you probably can't go into detail with that, but what is your take from this Clean Core initiative and its relationship with trash pickup?
You know, it's really unfortunate that residents are having to resort to lawsuits to get DPW, the city's highest budgeted agency, to perform their most routine functions. And so this program that they introduced to us 6 months ago or so, council members came out saying that it was very problematic from the beginning. Before we even had any information, it was very clear to us that any money that's going towards trash collections should be going directly to DPW to handle their infrastructure needs, so that all neighborhoods, all 300 neighborhoods in the city could get clean. And instead, what they chose to do is to spend $15 million to help clean 15 neighborhoods. But keep in mind, it's only a Band-Aid. It's only a short-term solution. And as soon as that program ends, those communities are going to be right back to where they started from, because they're not addressing the root causes. And in order to address the root cause, we need to be increasing our capacity in our transfer stations and our other DPW resources, so that we're not back in the same place as soon as this program ends.
And some of the plaintiffs on the lawsuit we spoke to yesterday, Mr. Desmond Stinney, he mentioned some of the concerns with having, you know, folks go out sometimes in a biohazard situation to pick up trash, which is kind of what this new initiative invites folks to do. What do you think would be a better use of this $15 million in funding that is going to this program?
I mean, you can pick one of many options in DPW. First off, they can increase the capacity at the transfer stations. Right now, small haulers are forced to wait hours on end just to dump one load of trash. And what they're resorting to is they end up going into the neighborhoods and dump that trash in the neighborhoods. So instead of having illegal dumping continue, we should prevent that from happening in the first place by allowing small haulers to get to the transfer station and be able to dump their trash pretty quickly.
Yeah, and hiring.
But unfortunately,
go ahead.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's just not happening, because right now we know from that report that DPW commissioned that they need approximately 96 employees in order to resume weekly collections across the entire city. And instead, the administration gave $15 million to a couple nonprofits to go ahead and hire approximately 80 people. If all of those Clean Core employees came and were hired by DPW today, which all of them are qualified to work at DPW today, routine collections would have resumed across the entire city, and you would see an overall cleaner city, not just, you know, money being siphoned off for these organizations to buy their own equipment, which then begs the question, what is going to happen with that equipment and those all that expenditures that they've had when this program runs out?
And I think that's part of what the lawsuit is asking the judge to decide here is let's maybe stop funding this while we focus on the concerns that have led to trash pileup on so many sidewalks. If you were to, and I don't like the word blame, but if you were to look at somebody and lay this issue at their feet, who would that be?
Well, look, it's DPW. DPW lacks the leadership to make the correct decisions. No matter what the topic is. We saw that when there was a contamination in West Baltimore, they failed to notify people in a timely manner. Your station later uncovered that was actually deliberate in their emails to mislead the public and to not inform them because they were worried about the fallout instead of being worried about the citizens that they're responsible to make sure are getting clean water. And so it's just the same agency constantly making poor decisions. And right now we're looking at contaminated water coming from East Palestine to be treated here in Baltimore. But that facility, the backwater facility, has had so many issues over the years. The state has had to take over it. There was just an explosion there the other week. I mean, that's like the last place in the world that I could think of that water should be coming to.
And yeah, I mean, we just learned that, I mean, just days ago, and that explosion, as you mentioned, happened in the same week time realm. So it it's something I think a lot of city leaders are processing. Let's leave it there. I know we've talked about several issues. I'm sure this conversation will continue, and we'll continue to stay afoot with this. So thank you so much, Mr. Streifler, for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
All right. Let's get over to meteorologist Amy Aronson. You and I today, we're besties because you're talking about sun, and that's all I need.
Yeah, a little bit of vitamin D, that'll solve anything, right? The thing that won't help you out, unfortunately, the pollen. Pollen problems today, along with the nice weather. Maple, birch, and willow. So if you're suffering from allergies early in the season, that would be the reason why. The good news is some relief is on the way this week. Looks like pollen levels will drop off and stay pretty steady in the medium to high category through the rest of the week. But today, with the sunshine and the warm temperatures, the levels are going to skyrocket. Right now, we're in the upper 40s. West-northwesterly wind at 13 miles an hour, so a nice warm breeze coming in. Temperatures are going to climb today. It's going to be nice, much nicer than yesterday. Nothing really in the immediate future here on the radar, but we are tracking our next weather maker already starting to take shape here, and that's what's going to usher in our next chance for showers as early as tomorrow. So future scan shows we stay completely dry day, but here comes that next batch of showers arriving by the end of your morning drive tomorrow and lasting through the afternoon. On and off showers, not a complete washout. As we get into Monday night, that should scoot out of here, just a leftover shower or two as we head into your Tuesday. But today, you do not need to worry about the rain. A perfect day to check out the cherry blossoms in D.C. if you're planning to do that. Temperatures are going to be really nice, so I have a feeling it's going to be a little crowded down there. Temperatures in the mid and upper 60s this afternoon with nothing but sunshine. And a perfect night for grilling will follow. If you haven't grilled yet this season, great opportunity to break that out. Temperatures will start off in the comfortable mid-60s and then drop through the 50s as we head through the rest of the night. Tomorrow does come with that chance for some scattered showers. That's our next weather maker. Temperatures will fall back into the upper 50s as a result. We stay in the mid-50s on Tuesday with just a passing shower. Wednesday and Thursday turn drier with highs close to 60 both days. And then by the end of the week, that's when we throw in our next chance for rain. So another weather maker to wrap up the week, but at least it comes with some really mild temperatures. So by week's end on Friday, we're all the way in the upper 60s. For the start of April on Saturday, more scattered showers, but at least it's going to be warm, right? With high temperatures well into the mid-70s. Remember, you can always use that QR code you see at the bottom of your 7-day forecast. If you want to use it, just scan it with your phone, and it's going to take you right to our WBFF weather app. And you can also get all these weather updates there. Taylor?
Family and friends held vigil for the Patterson High School student that was killed, Isaiah Carter. Just ahead at 10:30 this morning, the message they are sending to lawmakers. And as crime rises still in the city this morning, city and state leaders are doing right now in session to improve your safety. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning.
8:55 on such a pretty Sunday morning. What a treat. It's a weekend day. It's sunny. It's going to be warm today. The flowers are blooming. 65 today. Enjoy some time outside, get some fresh air, some vitamin D. We are tracking showers, making a speedy return tomorrow, so our rainy pattern will continue. We're back in the 50s, actually, for a good chunk of the week. Temperatures will stay right around average Wednesday and Thursday. We're dry in the middle of the week, but it does look like we'll see some more scattered showers Friday into Saturday as we welcome April. Temperatures will be warming, so right on cue as we turn the page on a brand new month, it looks like we're back in the upper 60s by Friday. And by next Saturday, although we've got that rain chance thrown in there, I think you're just going to want to break out the umbrella and get outside because temperatures will be warming even more, well above average. We make a run for the mid-70s. Our spring ups and downs will continue, Taylor. A little bit of everything in the week ahead.
I love it. I love it. Spring is really, really here. And we got a few pictures from folks yesterday who came out to see us at the Be More Healthy Expo. This is from Elzena. She sent us this picture of her little guy kicking up his feet after a long day of walking around the convention center. And then Michael here getting weather practice on the green screen. He's working with Jonathan Myers. Thanks to Debbie for sending this one in. But you were also at the green screen, too.
Yeah, and celebrating some smiles here at the Colgate booth. Thanks to Lisa Summers for sending this one in. Kids learned about the importance of healthy teeth at the Be More Healthy Expo. And keep sending us your pictures. If you haven't done so yet, we want to see your favorite photos and videos through Chime In. Just go to foxbaltimore.com/chime-in or download the WBFF app.
All right, man. A long day at the Expo, a great day of weather.
Yeah, we'll be back
today.
Back at 10:30 with an updated look at your forecast and what to expect for the week.
I love it. Well, happy Sunday. Be back here. Join us here at 10:30.